What's up, everyone? Okay, so Empire star actor Jussie Smollett, you probably know him better as the man who faked the hate crime assault against himself, where he lied and said that two white men jumped him and beat him up and tied a noose around his neck and threw bleach at him or whatever, and yelled a bunch of homophobic slurs at him and stuff and ran off yelling, "This is MAGA country." Now has all charges dropped against him by the state of Chicago. Well, the state of Illinois, I should say. It happened in the city of Chicago. So he was, it was like a 16 count indictment for falsifying a complaint, for lying to investigators, for orchestrating the entire event. He also sent a package to himself to the Fox studio, I believe, with the white powder in it. The white powder would probably turn out to like aspirin or something like that, or whatever the hell it was. It was a fake terrorist attack of sort. Hopefully the feds are still going to charge him with that. But this just shows you the hypocrisy. I mean, he committed an actual crime here. There was 3 or 4 weeks of investigation from the Chicago PD behind it. Who knows how many thousands of dollars was spent in that. You definitely cause all kinds of tension between the communities, between black and whites. With something like this happening, people thinking it's real. It kind of unsettles people. You know what I mean? And, relations just get worse when stuff like this happens. He definitely committed a crime. I mean, it only took a little while for everyone to realize that this was all bullshit, and to begin with. Luckily it didn't go that far. I mean, there's still a few people, clinging on, but a lot of people, black or white, it just didn't matter. A lot of people were calling him out and saying that this is a hoax, it's a lie, which it is. So that's the only good part about it. But now by dropping all the charges, I mean, the reason they dropped the charges, they said that it was like a small thing, it wasn't worth prosecuting, and he learned his lesson. It was like just such a bullshit excuse for dropping all the charges, against him. They don't want to go through with it. I mean, I don't know what they're afraid of. Are they afraid of some kind of backlash from the public? Because the public is not with him on this. The public pretty much realizes that this was a hoax. I mean, he hired 2 Nigerian men who are like his personal trainers and friends of his, and they were on a few episodes of Empire. They were I don't know if they were arrested or just detained for questioning. They're not being charged. They admitted to everything. They raided the 2 men's home, and they found all the stuff that was needed to the material used in the event. I mean, they found the receipt to the hardware store where the rope was bought, where the mask was bought. They found the actual magazine that Pages was ripped out, and they're saying it's the same magazine that they used to rip Pages out to put together a letter that was mailed to the studio, the one with the powder in it, with the strange white powder. I mean, what more do you need to show that he's essentially he's a criminal? You committed a crime, and this is all conspiracy. I mean, this is you plotted this whole thing out. You planned this all out, all for a higher salary. He was hoping to garnish a lot of sympathy from people and try to get his name out there and up his status in society and be worth a little more money, so the people at Empire will pay him more, so Fox Studios will pay him more. By letting him go, dropping the charges, it's like, what are you saying? You give an incentive for people to want to continue to commit crime. You're not really sending a strong message to people that this type of behavior, hate hoax crimes are not, they're not acceptable. They should never be acceptable, no matter who's doing it. It doesn't matter, black or white, gay, straight, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, atheist. It just doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, none of this matters. A false hate crime is a false hate crime, and we have to send a strong message that, we already have this separation between us. There's already racial tensions every time there's a real, hate crime. It just furthers the gap between us, adding in the mix a whole bunch of, fake crimes, a bunch of hoax and stuff like this. It just leaves us more with sour feelings towards each other every time something like this happens. And now you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna let them go. Like, what happened? Did the gay mafia go after the Chicago PD or something? Like, what happened? You know what I mean? Were black people angry at you if you prosecuted him and they were planning on rioting? I don't think so, because as far as I can tell, it appeared to me, at least, I know I'm not privileged to all the studies in the world and everyone's opinion, and I didn't really take the time to see what the general census in the black community is about Jussie Smollett. But the way I see it, it appeared that it looked like more often than not that the black people were like, listen, it's a hoax, and they knew it, and that was it. They're not very angry at this case. They see it for what it is. It's complete bullshit on Jussie Smollett's on his side. So. But letting it go, I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish by letting it go. And, what's going to happen is you're going to get people that's going to, you're going to give the people who stood by him all this time and they think that he's innocent. You give them strength and credence to their argument that why he's innocent and he didn't set this up, even though that's a very foolish position considering all the evidence against him at this point. You really have to be mentally brain dead to think that he's innocent. But then it might turn opinions from people who were against him to say, maybe I was wrong, maybe there was something to it. And again, all this does is it leads to more tensions between the groups, between the out groups. That's one. And then two, you just give an incentive to people to want to commits crimes like this, thinking there's a chance they can get away with it. And not to mention the fact that it's just blatantly unfair. If I was in the shoes of Jussie Smollett and I, lied and picked up the phone and said that, I was attacked by, two Cambodian left-handed, midgets or something like that, and it turns out that never happened, I would be arrested and charged with it. They probably wouldn't drop the charges, especially not a high-profile case like this. If it's something, small and stupid, not much details, and not a big deal. They sweep it under the rug. Law enforcement doesn't want to be bothered with something so petty because they're too busy chasing gang members and murderers and rapists to worry about some crackpot saying that he was beat up by someone when he wasn't. This happens all the time, by the way, when women call the cops and say their boyfriend hit them or something like this, and then or the times that a woman does lie and says she was sexually assaulted and she wasn't. The times where a dude calls the cops on another dude and says that the guy beat him up or threatened him or something when he didn't. Stuff like this happens all the time. People make false reports trying to leverage the law as a weapon against their enemy, and they do this all the time. But this is a high-profile case, and it's like, something like this, you can't let it go. You don't just sweep it under the rug. You got the whole public watching you by doing something like this. Like, if you just let it go and you drop the charges, there's like a backlash that can come. If you don't drop the charges and you follow through with it, I think the backlash for it would have been a lot smaller. The few people that are out there that are supporting Jussie Smollett, who I can't believe at this point there's anyone out there who would. So, what do? You just cheapened, hate crime hoax by dropping the charges. You just cheapened it. You just made it worthless. You made it nothing, at all. Not to mention the fact that, we all know if the shoe was on the other foot, what would happen? What if it was a white actor that said two black guys beat him up and called him a cracker and a honky or whatever the case may be, and it turns out that he was lying? Would they drop the charges against him? Probably not, because, in the eyes of, of public opinion, the Chicago PD or any PD they would have dealt with a backlash and would have been called racist, and they don't want to be called racist, and that's probably why they're dropping the charges against Smollett. They're trying to show how woke they are. They're trying to show that they love black and gay people, and they think the right thing to do is just to drop it. It's like, no, the right thing to do is to prosecute him under the full extent of the law. Give him his due process, give him his fair trial. He deserves that. Everyone does. Let him have his day in court. Let him, he's presumed innocent until proven guilty. 100%. Let him have his day in court. Let him fight it out. And it's not like I'm asking. I don't want his head cut off or him publicly executed for what he did. And even if he didn't get jail time, I would be okay with it. I would be okay with not only him being found guilty, in a court of law. I would also be okay with him paying back all the money and the resources went to investigating that case. That's a good start. Maybe some community service, maybe 30 days in jail, 40 days, 60 days in jail, maybe 6 months in jail. He doesn't have to do 20 years or life in prison. I don't want harsh punishment towards him, but I do want him punished for what he did, for what it's worth. I don't think he has a criminal record. I think this is his first offense, to my knowledge. Although I think he was arrested for something a few years ago for another offense, not related to a hate crime hoax. It was something else that he did. I can't remember offhand what it was. But, I just want what's fair. And what's fair is that he has his day in court and has to, prove his innocence, or at least they have to prove his guilt. And if they can do so, I want him to suffer for what he did, pay back, pay the debt to society now that you wronged us. Especially straight white men, Trump supporters, like you wronged us. You made us look like something that we're not. You know what I mean? Like you went out there, you perpetrated this hate hoax. You put us on the hot seat. You made us, for a good week, everybody was running around talking about, once again, the white Trumpers again, you know what I mean? They, how racist they are. And that's what, what was thrown around for the first week or so until people started seeing through the bullshit. And now here you have it. And will we get an apology? No. Would people say, hey, maybe we're going to stop judging white Trump supporters because, it appears that they're not as bad as people are saying they are, especially when there's hate hoax that pop up. The Muslim woman, a girl here on the train, she lied and said 3 Trumpers pulled her hijab off or something. It never happened. There's been a whole host of hate crimes that took place where a Trump supporter was blamed. It turned out to be bullshit. This is just another one. But, no, it goes nowhere and people don't get into trouble. It's almost like the system is against us. They hate Trump so much, they hate his supporters so much that they'll be willing to just, sweep what's right and what's wrong under the rug. They'll tilt the system in their favor just to make sure that they can try to get over on us any way they can. So, I mean, that's all I got. I just saw that news. It just broke, and I was a little upset about it. I think, we should be upset about it. It is wrong, and to allow him to walk on a charge like this. I mean, hopefully the feds pick it up, but to allow him to walk on a charge like this, I think is grossly irresponsible by the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. And I think there should be a backlash against them. Hopefully they will be, and hopefully they reconsider and they do decide to charge him. Hopefully it's not too late now, but whatever, it is what it is. So, all right, I'm done. I'm getting ready to head out the door to go to work, and just hanging out with little Rufus. Say hi, Rufus. Rufus doesn't talk much. All right, guys, please like, comment, share, hit the bell, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.